Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Argos, Xenix, and LotsOfFlowers here on Shakuras Plateau. We have LotsOfFlowers spawning here as the red Terran player. Meanwhile, back over here, we have Argos Xenix spawning as the blue Zerg. Just know the Korean player is LotsOfFlower, and Argos Xenix is, well, Argos Xenix. Now, Zerg versus Terran here on Shakuras Plateau used to be really imbalanced before they released the 1.5 version of the map, I believe it's called, without the destructible rocks leading into the base. It is now much more interesting and just a lot of fun to play on. Perhaps one of the more balanced maps. I particularly like it more than Tall Dream Altar, as you do have a ramp leading to your natural expansion, and then you have another ramp leading to your another base. Terran players generally like choke points a lot more than any other base as well, but you gotta also remember that this is a very large ramp. It takes a lot of buildings to try to get, or excuse me, to try to wall that off there. We are going to be seeing a lot of drones coming in, and we'll see what Argos tries to go for. Argos, the last couple of games I've cast from him, he likes to go extractor pool or pool extractor instead of hatchery first, but he may just try to prove me wrong already. No, he's actually going to do some scouting instead, so it is going to be perhaps no, he is going to prove me wrong. Yeah, so Argos, I guess I'm changing up his strategies specifically for Shakuras Plateau. We'll be able to build up a hatchery over here, and he is going to start queuing up onto a lot of larvae. But that is one of the benefits of Zerg, is that even though when you start slowing down your drone production, you can quickly come back into it as you're able to train up 3 drones at a time, perhaps even 4, depending on even before you have that queen, if you have the resources for it. You can see perhaps another spawning pool going to be coming into play instead. Argos is now setting up on 2 drones, as now we are going to be getting a barracks on the low ground. We are getting a drone down over here, going to take a look around. He needs to see if any gas is in play. He doesn't see any gas so far, which is important to know that your opponent is either going to be trying to put marine pressure on you or trying to expand. One of the things Terran players do is that they do sometimes build a barracks over here, or over here, lift it off and land it, and then perhaps the Zerg player thinks that there is going to be a fast expansion attempt instead. No, the drone does quickly check over here, just hasn't checked over there, but Argos is pretty sure that a command center will be placed down at some point. We can see that the spawning pool now coming in from Argos. We should also be getting up an extractor as well, as speedlings are very, very powerful, as drones now being transferred to the low ground, but I don't see any extractors yet. So this may just be unupgraded Zerglings in order to try to get a lot of map presence. And then trying to transition. We are going to get a bunker down over here, but this bunker is significantly late. Not going to really get any damage at all. Going to be a loss of 25 minerals there, as that drone now wandering around back and forth. 4 Zerglings going to quickly make their way over. That bunker is going to get destroyed as a spine crawler, or canceled as that spine crawler now in position, and we'll be able to fend off any early marine pressures. So no real action during the early portion of this matchup. Just getting a lot of Marines on both sides. Another barracks going to be placed down here, perhaps to try to finish off that wall in, and then a lot of Marine pressure. The Zerglings are going to try to make their way out, as we are just sitting on a lot of gas so far. Sitting on a lot of minerals so far. 1 extractor up, and just getting a lot of minerals, and we'll see how Argos responds. Argos may respond by trying to expand into this location here. It would make sense, as the Zerg player doesn't want to be behind on expansions. I know you've heard it time and time again. Argos, however, does not know about the command center here. He does see that there are triple racks being built, so we'll see what he does with this triple racks. There are Marines up on that high ground. The Zergling just sitting off here sees the triple racks, and now SCV trying to sneak its way back in. An Overlord will quickly scout out this one orbital command down here, or orbital command down over here, as Overlords are just getting in position. And this is just a very macro style of play. Nothing much to really talk about in this game. Argos Xenix, if he wants to stay ahead, needs to get another hatchery down in just a moment. Meanwhile, orbital command now just starting to mule once more, and we're going to see a very strong economy coming in from both players. 32 drones versus 24 harvesters, 25. But with those additional mules, those mules are giving a slight economic bump to LotsOfFlowers at this stage in the game. We are also training up some Reapers. So LotsOfFlowers going into perhaps Mass Reapers, and normally I would say Mass Reapers is not a very, very strong opening, but because there are no roaches and there are just a lot of Zerglings and the sheer number of cliffs on this map, perhaps it will work out. An Overlord does spot this expansion over here. The Marines are now trying to shoot down the Overlord. The Overlord may be able to actually get enough distance. We'll see. Yeah, just enough distance there. Or is it actually a sight thing? It's a sight thing. Unable to see up onto that high ground cliff there. We are now going to have some Overlords still being positioned across the map. Argos Xenix establishing his third base here, and before the 8-minute mark, so a standard expansion attempt. No tech to tier 2 just quite yet, as we are still getting a lot of drones up and running. The Nitro packs nearly completed, and if this is a Mass Reapers or Triple Reaper with Nitro pack upgrades, and they're going to start moving very, very quickly in just a moment. There you go, moving at 3.84, I believe slightly faster than a Mutalisk, and they are going to get spotted by the Overlord. Yeah, going to get spotted by the Overlord there on the side corner portion of the map. If Argos Xenix was actually watching, but he may not have been watching there, he is going to see it finally here, but those Reapers are moving in so quickly that those Reapers are going to be able to get perhaps some damage. Now need to try to back off, and now no scanner sweep up onto the high ground. Going to come down over here, trying to get some damage onto those Zerglings, but the Zerglings do move rather quickly with that metabolic boost. The metabolic boost are moving at a movement speed of 4.7, trying to talk at a 4.7, but unable to do so. Reapers just getting a lot of damage, and those Reapers are able to two-shot any Zergling, and just playing a game of hopscotch going back and forth. You can see a very nice micro there, making sure that the lower hit point Reaper is in the back portion of that group, and now the Reapers are just still wandering across the map still. The Reapers now perhaps going to try to return home. Production-wise, Siege Tanks and Marines still being trained. Combat Shield and Stim Pack. So this is going to be Marine Tank now. Marine Tank transition after a Reaper opening, trying to regain some of that map control. Medevacs are being trained. The Reapers getting even more damage, taking down even more of those units. The losses are starting to get up higher and higher, and a quick scanner sweep would quickly destroy a lot of those creep tumors, as the Reapers do deal bonus damage towards creep tumors. Creep tumors are considered a building, as the Zerglings now going to get picked off. The Reaper needs to try to make its way up. No, unable to do so. The lower hit point Reaper getting lost there. And now just the Reapers trying to play a very dangerous game. Now just hopping up and down those cliffs, getting a lot of damage onto those Zerglings. Zerglings now trying to get more damage there, but those Reapers really getting a lot of kills and a lot of mileage off of this. So those Reapers doing a great job so far, just trying to clean up the Zergling presence and also preventing any serious baneling pressure. One Reaper with already 11 kills there. And now we should perhaps be seeing Marines and tanks making a move out. Level 1 weapons upgrade. No reactor on the factory, as another command center being built. 51 drones versus 47. Marines now finally making a move out. Perhaps a Reaper should have tried to come back home and clean up that unit there. But the Reaper has been taken down. Perhaps by this guy? No. Don't quite know where it was taken down, as the Zerg is now pecking apart the destructible rocks here. And this army is completely revealed. Siege tanks in position army-wise. 2,100 or 3,000 army versus 1,600. As the siege tanks now coming along this bottom side here, will it be able to get enough damage is the key question. Marines now trying to make sure, are we going to get a siege in time? That is going to be a problem. The Banelings are not going to be, sieging, taking down multiple Banelings there. Zerg is now finishing it off, and all the siege tanks were destroyed because they were not sieged in time to detonate those Banelings. And now the Marines are just trying to fight their way back. A lot of Zerglings coming in. Those Marines need to back off, perhaps jump inside that medevac there. But that is not going to be a good day for those Marines. The Marines actually hiding themselves in between a couple mineral patches and some gas, and able to fend off the attack. We are getting a lot of Overlords here, so any drops are quickly or will quickly be revealed, as Argos has yet to really do anything here. Marines up on that high ground. Banelings were looking for them, doesn't see them over there, as the Banelings and Zerglings are once again on the move. Army-wise, still slightly larger for Terran, 2,000 mineral resources, or 2,000 resources versus 1,600. I am just stumbling over myself today. Maybe I should slow down. as Marines, medevacs, and siege tanks getting into position once more. So it's going to be mass tank, a Marine tank, but I'm really surprised that we don't see that many upgrades. A tech lab being forced to be destroyed as more Marines are just going to be continuing to trained up once more. There are a lot of banelings in production here, so 16 banelings will try to make a move once more, and those siege tanks, if they are not sieged up, scanner sweep, Marines now trying to quickly come in, banelings now going to swarm in as well, banelings gonna get destroyed by those siege tanks there, and the Marines once again trying to protect the siege tanks protecting the Marines. Kind of a yin and yang strategy for these siege tanks versus baneling, siege tanks and Marines versus baneling Zerglings. Command center has been established on the low ground. It is going to be 3-base play versus 3-base play. Marines now trying to come back over here. They need to get picked up. One nice pickup there, perhaps dropping up onto the high ground, getting even more damage as these siege tanks and Marines coming across over here. It looks like a queen not realizing that there's a swarm of Marines coming around, going after a medevac, and now quickly getting destroyed once more. Spine crawlers now making their way up as a Marine quickly getting destroyed by this, or a Marine quickly getting destroyed by these Zerglings, and now some spine crawlers to try to protect this expansion location. This is turning out to be a very, very long Zergling baneling battle, and this seems to be a very popular Korean strategy now. Zergling baneling movement speed, no roaches, no hydralisks, getting the Zerg flyer attack, so we may be going into Mutalisks now, but really just focusing on 2 to 3 units and utilizing them very, very well. The Mutalisks are going to be very, very instrumental in taking down those medevacs, as those medevacs could have been able to pick up a lot of those units in transition. Banelings now trying to find their target. They are fighting on creep, and those Banelings may be able to get some damage there, and now nicely done siege tanks, and now out of position there as the Mutalisks and Zerglings are once again going to swarm in. Down goes another siege tank. Marines now going to get destroyed, and Mutalisk, Baneling, Zergling just absolutely crushing Marine tank right now with medevacs. There is a planetary fortress over here. Missile turrets going to quickly shoot down some of those Mutalisks. And oh wow, all of those Mutalisks able to barely escape. Some of them desperately in the red. One more shot would have taken them down. Marines now once again trying to engage. Banelings perhaps going to find their targets there. Not quite sure what they actually took down, as the Banelings are now deciding to pull back once more. So it's going to be 3-base play versus 4 now, as Argos trying to expand into this expansion location here, what I'll call the center 2 o'clock expansion. And now that hatchery is up and running. Overlords in position. So many Overlords, but no drops in play at all. A lot of map presence, but lots of flowers just really unable to push out and try to contain the Zerg at all. Siege tanks are going to be able to start sieging up. This hatchery going to get quickly destroyed, not canceled in time. So Argos losing 300 minerals just like that. Army-wise, we are sitting on about 4,000 versus 40, or 4,000 versus 5,000, as Banelings are once again in production. A lot of Banelings, 9 Banelings coming in, a lot of Mutalisks as well. So mass Mutalisks against all of these Marines. The Marines are upgraded 2-1. But the Mutalisks are going to be upgraded 2-0 as well, as the Zerg is now trying to find their way through. Banelings having a very difficult time to try to find their Marines, as those siege tanks are just providing so much cover fire. Marines once again going to try to stim down in. In comes a queen as well. The Spinecrawler does have some armor to try to protect it, but those Marines are upgraded, and the Spinecrawler may get taken down. No, not taken down. Down to 9 hit points. So base 2 armor for the win to protect it. As the siege tanks now making their way through, Zerglings now trying to take down the rest of those siege tanks, unable to do so. Siege tanks are slowly pushing their way forward. Banelings and Mutalisks may be able to come in just a moment. Level 2-0 upgrades. More Zerglings coming in, as the Mutalisks now trying to swarm their way in as well. Banelings coming in, Zerglings coming in. All those Marines trying to pull back around. The Queens are going to be able to finish off the tanks there. And once again, the attack force simply destroyed, as Argos now taking down Marine after Marine, medevac after medevac, as the armies are just getting exchanged and traded by both sides. The Mutalisks, however, now trying to fight their way against 2-1 Marines. Those Marines soon to be 3-1 upgrades. Those Zerglings now finishing off multiple units, and the medevacs now once again in full retreat. Perhaps yes, one medevac will get destroyed, but as soon as the medevac flies by those missile turrets, the missile turret will offer enough protection. 9 Mutalisks once again being trained once more. to add to the 3 Mutalisks. Not critical mass on Mutalisks at all. A creep tumor being placed down right before all that creep receded. So very, very a nice move there by Argos to make sure that he doesn't lose his creep spread at all. Perhaps another creep tumor should be laid down as well, as we can see that LotsOfFlower is still running off of 3-base play, and the Marines are once again going to try to make another move. If at first you don't succeed, try again. That seems to be the mantra for a lot of Terran players, as the Marines could perhaps start trying to do some drops into the main bases here. Argos, not much there. He is sitting at tier 2 here, but not upgraded to tier 3 just quite yet. You can see a lot of minerals and a lot of things being banked on by LotsOfFlowers, and that is going to be an issue. He needs to keep up with this production. Sitting on 1100 minerals, not a good sign. Marines going to take down multiple Overlords. Overlords do have the pneumatized carapace upgrades, but they have a slow acceleration, unable to escape by. A Mutalist now trying to fly straight in, and now you can see that the Mutalists are going straight into the base over here. There is not many missile turrets at all. Perhaps going after the production buildings, perhaps going after the supply depots. The Marines, however, now going to be pushing over here, taking down this hatchery. And it's going to be just who can deal the most amount of damage first. The Mutalisks don't deal that much damage per second, but they are essentially able to be everywhere they want to be. Perhaps being able to even take down some of those barracks production buildings. Zerglings now trying to come in, trying to finish off more of these units over here, as the creep tumors are trying to be laid down. Army-wise, 35, 50, 16, 25, 28, 7, or what? 4,000 versus essentially 5,000 at this stage, as the Banelings once again trying to swarm in, and it looks like the Queen joining in on the battle. Marines are going to have a very difficult time, as they are just going to get splashed apart. Marines once again over here, the Banelings down over here need to perhaps hide themselves, and then once again try to re-engage. Are the Banelings going to be able to find their target is the key question. No, not going to be able to find it at all, as the Mutalisks still going after all of these production buildings here, and I don't know why. LotsOfFlowers is not trying to do anything about it. The Marines are back over here taking some damage. It looks like the Spine Crawler able to peck away slowly but surely. A main battle happening over here as well. So battles happening in multiple locations, as those Mutalisks are finally being shooed away by mass Marines. So being told to retreat there. A lot of medevacs are in the air. You can see 9 medevacs with not that many Marines to offer support. The Mutalisk could easily take down all of those medevacs in transition. Those medevacs are very expensive units. 100 minerals, 100 gas, and are slow to be reproduced, as there is no reactor on that starport there. Just training up as many Marines as possible. Production-wise, level 2 armor upgrades on those infantry units. The Zerg is still sitting at 2-2, no tech to tier 2-1, no tech to tier 3 just quite yet, as I do not see an infestation pit anywhere at all, and I'm kind of surprised by that. Argos really well known for his infestation pit usage, especially in Zerg versus Zerg back in the day. We'll see if he tries to go to Infestors a little bit later. It would be able to get a lot of damage onto those Marines. We are also upgrading to a planetary fortress here, as the Marines now once again going to do a drop into the main, or into this expansion here at the 5 o'clock location. I'm going to take down the hatchery, but there are seriously no drones at all. Worker kills 21 to 10. Unit kills, 61 harvesters versus 59, as both sides are almost kind of in a reset pattern. Mass Mutalisks trying to win the game and currently unable to do so. Level 2 carapace upgrades, 3 more Mutalisks now being added once again, as the Zerg really behind on minerals and needs to get perhaps an infestation pit. There you go, an infestation pit finally being added. Fungal growth would definitely help out. Those Marines sitting at 3-1 upgrades, and those Mutalisks just perhaps looking for another target, getting to find a group of Marines over here. One Mutalist already shot down. Another Mutalist may get taken down there. Mutalist deciding to back off, going after those Marines now that the medevac is not nearby, and just exchanging unit after unit. The medevac going to get quickly destroyed. Down it goes. And perhaps these Mutalisks are going to be able to cause a little bit more harassment in the base once more. And the missile turrets do not have the autosec tracking upgrades, as the Marines now quickly trying to come in. Banelings now trying to make a roll, trying to make a move. And it looks like those Banelings are not going to be able to find that many Marines, but instead going after a siege tank and now backing off once again. Mutalisks now trying to come in over here. It looks like a damage will be dealt. Orbital Command may get taken down. And now perhaps those Mutas should be going after some of the other production buildings. Like the Orbital Command will get shot down here as the siege tanks now once again do another slow push into the main portion of the base here. Banelings are now going to try to roll in. Will they be able to find their target is the key question. Those Marines have no, they are able to run up that ramp trying to do a Marine split. A couple Marines are getting melted away and down they go. So many Marines destroyed and all the siege tanks now cleaned up once more. Argos with a sizable army advantage now, deciding to back off as Marines are in the base here. Once again, Zerglings battling against a lot of Marines, but when you have more Marine or the same number of Marines as Medivacs, that is not a good marriage of units. You want more Marines than you have Medivacs. Another group of Marines now once again just getting cleaned up as these Mutalisks just dealing so much damage. Losses-wise, still Argos very far behind. Losing 5,000 total resources more, and that is just going to continue as the Zerglings now sitting at 2-1 upgrades, closing around and circling that Marine and able to take it down. The Pathogen Glands is now finished being researched, so we should be seeing some Infestors in just a moment, as all of the players are just, I guess, afraid to try to take another expansion at this stage. Drones need to start being transferred over here. Yeah, all the drones are now being transferred up, perhaps up onto that high ground. Mutalisks are not going to be able to really engage against those Marines. The Marines are upgraded 3-2, as now Infestors being added, and lots of them. 8 Infestors now being added to this group. Those Infestors are going to hatch in just a moment. And now with some fungal growths and perhaps some line of sight dodging, those units are, those Marines are going to have a very, very bad day. Mutalisks could easily have taken down some of those siege tanks. They're quickly taking on the Marine. The Marines now using that stim pack, trying to catch up. The siege tanks in the center portion of the map. Are the Mutalisks going to be able to find anything at all? No, not going to be able to catch any of these siege tanks out of position as the Marines once again trying to re-engage there. You can see we are only mining off of essentially 2 bases for Lots of Flowers versus 2 bases by Argos Xenix. Both sides just trying to be very careful. And oh, chain fungal growths and going to take down the Medivacs as well. And with so many Marines now absolutely destroyed, the Marines are just going to come in and perhaps get destroyed once again. The Mutalisks could have taken down those siege tanks and then let the Banelings come in. The Infestor is still with plenty of energy, perhaps even enough for almost 2 fungal growths, chain fungal growths. And now, Lots of Flowers is definitely in trouble. Marine tank, very, very hard to transition away from, especially when your Marines are upgraded 3-2. Trying to go into Marauders to try to deal with those Infestors doesn't help at all, as those fungal growths just deal so much damage towards armored units. Now, we are getting the Zerg level 2 Carapace upgrades. A Zergling trying to recapture the center portion of the map, unable to do so. A Medivac in transition, gonna get absolutely destroyed. They're losing 3 Marines, and the rest of the Marines on the ground gonna get taken down as well. Siege tanks now slowly sieging up the Infestors, maybe able to perhaps get off another fungal growth there. Fungal growth onto the Medivacs. The Medivacs, some of them may get destroyed. No, down to 3 hit points there, as the Mutalisks once again try to put in more pressure. Another round of missile turrets absolutely destroyed in a matter of seconds. Marines now trying to come in. I believe the Mutalisks are going to accidentally fly over 3 missile turrets, and that, or 4, and that is a lot of damage to be had. A lot of those Mutalisks just could have been saved, but now taking down some siege tanks in transition as well. These siege tanks, once they are destroyed, those Infestors are going to be able to have their way. And Lots of Flowers desperately in trouble now, as the Mutalisks finishing off the last of the Marines and the last of the siege tanks. Perhaps a Thor should even be added, as the Mutalisks now going after Medivacs. 1 Medivac, 2 Medivacs down. Marines are still only upgraded up to 3-2, and now unable to put any serious pressure, as the Mutalisks and the Infestors have just been controlling them throughout this matchup so far. Harvester count, we are still only at, mining count, we are still only about 1,500 resources versus 1,300, as a command center now trying to be established over here to the very north, but the Mutalisks are going to be able to get to it just in time, and now perhaps finish it off. Oh no, does he see it? He does see 1 missile turret there, and now going after 2 missile turrets here. If those get destroyed, all of those SCVs are just going to get absolutely destroyed and just get taken down so easily. Another couple missile turrets now down, and the worker kills are just going to rack up. But in the center portion of the map, the Infestors could turn around, get a fungal growth. There you go. And now with so many workers just absolutely getting killed by both sides, and this game is still very, very much to be played. Both players essentially down to just a couple resources, a couple harvesters, down to 38 harvesters compared to 61. Not that many mineral patches for Argos Xenix, as Medivacs just being spaced out across the map. 33 minutes with no end in sight so far. Another Marine gonna get taken down here. Siege tank down over here as well. A Marine down here. Marines now trying to transition their way out. This set of mineral patches essentially already mined out, as the Marines looking to deal even more damage. Mutalisk trying to finish off the Medivacs, unable to do so, but the Infestors perhaps would have been able to get off a nice key fungal growth. Zerglings now trying to swarm in. Infestors, oh, siege tanks now, Neuroparasite and fungal growth turning the tides of this battle. The siege tanks blasting apart, and very nice Infestor play there. The siege tanks absolutely doing a great job. One Marine did have a Neuroparasite that was actually just kind of cute play, as the army of Argos Xenix much stronger in terms of gas. And it looks like another group of mineral patches will start to be mined from in just a moment. A very full group of mineral patches, only about 500 minerals lost per location. Argos now sitting on 13 Infestors. 16 Infestors, 9 Mutalisks, a mass army of Infestors to try to deal with these siege tanks and Marines. And I'm still surprised that Burrow has been researched, but I have not seen it used by Argos yet. Argos could easily burrow his way in and start getting some damage onto some of the last couple mining locations before those missile turrets go up. Production-wise, Mutalisks and Infestors still being added, and now the Infestor is going to come in, perhaps get some fungal growth, a nice Neuroparasite there. Both sides, the siege tanks are just going to get absolutely destroyed. More siege tanks trying to come in, but the siege tanks just getting destroyed, and now doing a nice quick burrow and able to escape, only losing one Infestor there. So that Neuroparasite really dealing a lot of damage as they're able to control those siege tanks and control the pace of the game. Mutalisks now once again need to come in and re-engage here. Drones are deciding to back off. It looked like a couple units took some friendly splash damage there. Infestors, oh, do not lose another Infestor to a siege tank. That is a horrible loss. Infestors are such an expensive unit that you do not want to lose them. Mutalisks perhaps going to be able to transition or catch some of these Marines out of position once more. There you go. A couple of those Mutalisks cleaning up the rest of the siege tanks here as those Marines, and once again pushing out a little bit too far. Argos with a significant army advantage now, sitting at of a 7,000 resource army compared to the mass Marine tank. The tanks are only upgraded 1-0 at this stage, now trying to push their way through once more. Infestor is perhaps going to get off a fungal growth. No fungal growth there at all. You can see the location here. What's happening, the Zerglings and the Mutalisks trying to get their way across the map and get even more damage. The Infestors, I guess, playing a more defensive game, as another hatchery being placed down here and here. A Medivac looking to perhaps do a drop. There are 4 spine crawlers with a Queen. The Queen going to be able to just deter that attack pretty easily. Zerglings now backing off, and it looks like going to be a drop. No, not a drop here at all, as the Marines and tanks just trying to figure out what they can do. Mutalisks cleaning up this expansion location here, and with 22 Mutalisks, they should be able to easily take down multiple missile turrets very easily. But in comes a Thor. The Thor with that magic box, able to get a lot of damage in, but not level 2 weapon or level 3 weapon upgrade. And now siege tanks now completely blasting apart their own friendly units once more. Mutalisks now need to finish off the siege tanks before the Neuroparasite finishes off, and does so. Mutalisks doing a great job, and now you can see Marines trying to push their way in, and drones now being forced to pull off the mineral line. There are more than a couple spine crawlers here, but the spine crawlers are not stacked up. It looks like the Mutalisks is going to come in and finish off the Medivac and those Marines once again, as the siege tanks once again pushing their way forward. We still see a lot of Infestors just burrowed play here, and now, transfusions from the Queen. So a burrowed Queen now transfusing, trying to keep up those Infestors. Very smart play by Argos, using transfusions at this late stage of the game. Infestors once again coming in. Siege tanks unable to get any damage onto those Infestors, as the Mutalisks able to finish them off once more. 6,600 resources versus 1,500. Argos looking very promising at this moment. And give me 1 second. Alright, I am back. Sometimes a game is so long I need to get a drink of water since I don't have a dual caster with me. Anyway, lots of flowers just continue to move around with these tanks, and Argos just doing a really good job. Oh, now trying to back off. He's in a little bit of trouble here, and he may be able to get off of fungal growth. No, unable to get off of fungal growth there. Lots of flowers being very careful to not chase through the brush, instead doing a scanner sweep for siege tanks. Now sieging up. Are we going to get some neuroparasites is the key question. There you go, getting one neuroparasite, two neuroparasites. Marines now just taking up so much splash damage, and Argos Zenith easily handling the center portion of this map now, and with such a significant army advantage, more Zerglings being trained and not much coming in from the production tab. I'm thinking that this is the beginning of the end for LotsOfFlower. The Infestors are deciding to burrow, a very smart move. A burrowed move of something that you absolutely have to use with your Infestors, as more and more Zerg players are discovering that and discovering how well Infestors are. Infestors are more important to the Zerg army than I think Templars are important to the Protoss army. Beetle is quickly trying to come in now, gonna easily destroy down one missile turret. Could perhaps just try to go after the orbital command instead. If it actually went after the orbital command, it may be just beyond range for those missile turrets. The splash damage would hit SCVs, and those SCVs would not be able to do any additional mining. Down over here, though, we are having some siege tanks trying to blast their way through, but Zerglings more than enough, as we are now down to a 1,300 resource army compared to a 5,300 resource army, a definite position that no Terran player ever wants to be in. Zerglings now trying to swarm in once more. A siege tank may get neuroparasited, and no, not neuroparasited, as the Zergling was able to finish it off just in time. Zergling's now trying to take down one siege tank, but a planetary fortress in position to try to offer a little bit of cover fire there. Now, Argos Zenix, he doesn't really need to press this advantage nearly as much. He is running off of more bases. He has the stronger economy. He can easily get up to 200 food and then try to push out. Production-wise, Marine-wise, if he tries to trade armies, he'll always come out ahead, especially with those Infestors and those Zerglings. Mutalisk now trying to come into play. Are we going to get... Zerglings now trying to swarm in, and there in comes that fungal growth. Another fungal growth may be coming in. Mutalisk finishing off, and there's the GG by LotsOfFlowers. So LotsOfFlowers losing to Argos Zenix here on Shakuras Plateau. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.